if early is, say, 300, 200, now it's actually the 6th or 7th century. So it's no longer an early manuscript, is it? No, it's a later manuscript. But they tell you they have better, earlier manuscripts. Well, I think if it was edited in the 6th and 7th centuries, it's now later. Listen to this. This manuscript, Sinaiticus, has 1,460 peculiar readings not found in any manuscript on earth. That 2,640 words. It's got that no other manuscript's got. It's completely different than anything else. But they say, well, we're going to build a new version on this. Matter of fact, all new versions are built on these two manuscripts, basically. Why? Because I think they'll probably be the two most corrupt manuscripts. What would it? If these editors thought so poor of this manuscript that they felt they had to change it, would you think it's perfect? I wouldn't. No. Then we've got this other one called Vaticanus. And it showed up in the Vatican Library about 1450, somewhere around there. But it's really poor copy. What it does, it's just very, very careless copying. Many times, words are written twice over. Like example, take your Bible and turn to Matthew 21, verse 4. Quite a simple little verse. All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying. Now, the copyist was very careless that did the Vaticanus. And he actually repeated 5 words. So it would read like this, basically. All this was done that, all this was done that, it might be fulfilled. That's pretty poor work, isn't it? That's not just one place. In Matthew 26, verses 56 and 57, 6 words are repeated over. Luke 1:37, 3 words, or 1 line. John 17, verse 18, 6 words. It's just very, very poor copying. Alexandrus is also known as Aleph and Codex B, Vaticanus, is really bad. It leaves out words or whole clauses 330 times in Matthew. It leaves out words or clauses. 365 in Mark, 439 in Luke, 357 in John, 384 times in Acts, 681 in surviving epistles, 2,556 times it leaves out words or phrases. You know, it's just poorly copied. And yet, we're told we should give our King James Bible up for that. And these, you know what? Actually, the Vaticanus and Sinaiticus don't even agree. They have more in common with the text of the King James Bible than they have with each other. So why would you put these two together and say, these are the best, and we'll build on these? You have to go with one reason. What would the reason be?
Like the editing.
You like the editing. You want to destroy the Word of God. But it says, we are not as of, what? Many. Which, what? Corrupt the Word of God. It was a deliberate corruption of the Word of God. And now, I'm not going to go back into it, but there's 2 men, Westcott and Horton, basically involved in the occult, amongst many other things. And they are the people that pushed this and made it acceptable. And you can do your own research on them. Now, so there we have the, how are we doing it on our editing anyways? How far have we got? Go fast. We've only got the 4 editors here. This Sinaiticus and Vaticanus disagree about 3,000 times in the Gospels. So, in about 153 pages, they is the Gospels, they would disagree 20 times on each page. And yet they're put to as the best. Would you think in your mind, okay, let's just see this one, this editor. We haven't got our 10 editors done, but let me see it here. Let me see. I just got I got the original here. Okay, the oldest piece of paper to bear, and they've got changed bear to mention, and the original was to mention. You know what? Every one of these editions are wrong. Every one of these corrections are wrong. Let me ask you, was this closer to the original before it got edited by the other editors? Was it closer to this? No. Or is it closer now?
Closer before.
Closer before. But we're told that these editors all made this other manuscript better. It's not logical, is it? No. Now, so we're told better manuscripts. Are they better manuscripts?
No.
No. Then we're told better translators. Listen, I'm not going to go through this. I don't even know what time I started here. My battery ran out, so it's not being recorded, but being recorded on the videotape. But they were tremendous men of God. Let me say this. Understand this. The new versions are, we're told, the Bible is just like any other book. It's not. Because God promised to what? Preserve. God's hand will be on the preserved Word of God. The corrupt Word of God is going to be just like any other book. So there's something that we must understand. God uses holy men. The new versions talk about scholarship. And I'm going to show you scholarship is important. But scholarship without holiness is the devil's handiwork. You understand that? I went to Bible college and I had the dean or the assistant dean of men tell me he would rather, I can't remember the exact quote, but he would rather have unsaved people working on translation if they knew Greek better. That's basically what he told me. Oh, he was telling me my King James Bible was no good. Listen, God works through holy men. God desires holy men. What were the translators like for the King James Bible? Lancelot Andrewes was called the star of preachers. He was known as a great man of prayer. But also, he was also a learned man. And somebody said about him, if he was there at the Tower of Babel, he could be interpreter general. He knew so many languages. Tremendous man, but also a man of God. He knew 15 languages. That's Lancelot Andrews. John Overall was chosen for his expertise in early church fathers. In other words, he knew what these preachers had said a long time ago. William Bennell was, when he was, his epitaph mentions that he was, for Eastern tongues, as learned a man as lived in these times. Edward Lively, one of the best linguistics in the world. And I won't go through all these guys. I got more pages here. But these were men of God